Hi, I'm Tammy Beilstein, and I'd like to welcome you to Season 3 of What's She Up To Now? You know, Larry and I started this show back in 2007, and we have almost 40 episodes now. That is just so hard to believe. And we've had the best time doing these shows for you. And you know what? The place we're at today is PATV 7. This is the place that helps us bring our shows to you. In fact, it was here that Larry and I did some of our meetings and got the idea going to do this show, and it's something that you can do too if you're interested in it. Let's go inside and we'll meet some of the people that are behind the scenes that help bring all of this fun, interesting, exciting stuff to you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am so pleased and honored to be able to introduce to you Ed Lark. He is the station manager at PATV in San Andreas.
Yeah.
And, you know, he is the man, not only the station manager. It is because of him, it's because of you that Larry and I are able to do what we do. And it's that anyone here who puts on a show at the station is able to do what they do. It's all because of you.
Oh, aren't you nice?
Oh, you know, I'm crazy about you. Now, Ed, tell me about yourself. You have such an interesting history.
Oh, my goodness. I don't know where to start, but I was always
Not from the time you were spanked. Yeah, when a little bit past that. Tell me a little bit more about this history.
Well, when I was just a kid, I loved photography, and I used to sit and look at photography books more enthusiastically than comic books. Oh. And my dad got us a camera when we were just a teenager, and when my brother and I, and it just grew from there, and I started my first professional career when I was in my 20s, and I had good fortune of having a mentor who was in the business of producing documentaries and travel films and giving lectures with them around the world and around the country, because I have also done shows not only in the U.S. and Canada, but when I started my career, I actually did my first lecturing professionally in Sweden, speaking Swedish.
You did?
Yes. And I had to learn the language about 6 months after I arrived. No, 6 months, correction, 6 weeks.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And now when I think back at it, of all the years' experience that I've had, I must have been crazy to even consider it. But when you're young, naive, there are things you do. You say you can do it, and it works.
Oh,
and
my gosh.
I did about 85 shows in Sweden.
What was it that you talked about?
A film that I had with me on California, and I called it Sunny California because I played upon the weaknesses of the Swedes who love sunshine.
Is that nice?
Yeah. So that's how I got started, and I had the good fortune of traveling all over the world, doing productions and coming back here, presenting programs from one end of the country to the other, National Geographic Society, various geographic societies, the Geographic Society in San Francisco, and we've done all sorts of programs. Joni, my wife, has helped me a great deal. She travels along as an assistant, and this has been very, very helpful to me, and so we really love it.
Oh, that is so... Now, you did work then in front of the camera and behind the camera?
Both. That's correct. I've done shows all over the country, and anywhere from a couple hundred, and the largest single show I think I did was in the Coliseum in Spokane, Washington, where they had 7,000 plus 200 standing. So,
my gosh. Do you ever play those documentaries on the PATV?
Yes, I have a few of them that have been converted to video, because when I was out in the field producing programs, it was always on film. And then I have about a half a dozen of them now, but I've done 19 feature-length films.
Oh my gosh. I would love to see those. Really, I would totally
Some of them
love
were
to.
exotic. Thank you, but I guess you would like to see a little bit of the studio?
Oh yeah, we would.
Yeah.
What am I thinking? Let's do that.
I'll be happy to show you around.
Good, let's do that. So, Ed, what room are we in now?
We're in the editing room. We have 3 editing bays here. They're with Max, and that bay to the other side or behind you handles iMovie editing. This one does strictly Final Cut Pro, and then the one to the other side behind me has Final Cut Pro and iMovie.
So about how long does it take to edit say a 30-minute show? How much time goes into that?
Well, it depends on how fussy you are. Okay. It might take 20 hours. It might take 2 hours, depending on how particular you are in your editing.
Wow.
Yes, and there's sometimes when I've done something like that where it's been twice that, 40 hours or something of editing time, but you want to get everything precise.
Yeah, and that could be just with one camera, right? If someone's doing a show where they maybe have 3 cameras going, it's...
Yeah, well, no, generally it's usually with more than one camera when you take that much time. Okay. If you have just one camera, you don't really have the flexibility of editing, so it usually takes less time. But when you bring in other cameras, it gives you more interesting viewpoints, right? But it also takes more time.
Then you're looking at up to 20 hours, maybe.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Is it difficult to do editing?
Well, once you know what you're doing, no. Okay. No, it's all a matter of learning the steps, and there's a certain learning curve that you have, and once you know how to do that, then it goes pretty fast. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Hey. So, you were saying there are how many? 7,000?
7,000 videotapes we have.
Oh my Lord!
Yes, they've been collected over the years, and we're still collecting them. In the 7 years that I've been here, of course, they didn't have too many videos that we produced at that time, but now we probably produce almost 1,000 a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Now these are all kept behind the curtain that the viewer sees behind Mike and Sarah and Kathy.
Exactly.
Yeah, you have no idea that all of this is back there.
Yes. So it's very convenient to have the videos on shelves behind the curtain, and it's easy for my programmer to come and pick these up. Yeah. Now we're producing more DVDs than we are tapes.
Takes up a lot less room.
Yes, a lot less room. Exactly. Exactly. No, this is our program room, and it is where all of the programming of our 2 television channels are planned. We have 2 channels that operate 24/7.
And what are the channels?
Channel 7 and Channel 9. Okay. Channel 7 is public access. Channel 9 is government and education. Okay. And we have a programmer who comes in and sits at the computer and plans everything every day for the whole week, and then you decide on the pre-roll, the number of minutes and seconds each program is, and she puts that in the computer, and the whole week is then scheduled in there. Then it is sent over to 2 computers here on this rack. They're called electronics, and these computers control the start and stop of each machine, when it's supposed to come on, what day it's supposed to come on, and it's done automatically. So we can set this all up and walk away. And it just keeps playing.
As long as she did her job right. That's a big responsibility. Yeah,
it's very complex, and it's very detailed. It's very easy to make mistakes. So once in a while, we do make a mistake. And
then I'm looking behind me here. Each of these are DVD players?
Yeah, well, they're both DVD players as well as what they call S-video players, tape players. We have 32 of them.
So is that how that works? Does she put the DVD in each machine in the order it's supposed to play?
No, it doesn't have to be in any order. The computer will read it.
Okay. So automatically.
You'll say like it's bank B16 or something like that, or bank A12, and then the computer will actually send that information over to the electronics, and it'll tell the machine when it should turn on and when it should turn off.
Boy, did she have to go to school for that?
No. It took her about 2 months or so of learning to do it.
Wow.
But this is the heart of the programming, and this is typical of what you'd find in any commercial television station as well. Yes, this is the control room, the brain center of all of our programming that we do in the studio.
Okay. Okay. This is all soundproof, right? So when you guys are in here, I know that you don't throw a party while someone's doing their show, but you can talk with each other quietly,
Yes.
saying, one of you do this, one do
Yes,
that.
and they won't hear us out there.
Oh, that's neat.
No, there's soundproofing all the way around.
Oh, neat.
But
What does this thing do?
well, this is the soundboard, and we can have 16 channels or 16 microphones out there. Of course, we never had that many here.
Wow.
And then up in here is what's called a compressor limiter that helps us to control the sound level, because people have often a wide vocal variety in what they say, and sometimes it goes into distortion. This prevents that from happening. It compresses
Automatically?
It automatically
Nice.
compresses it. So that's very helpful. We have a CD player and a cassette player. We have VU meters up here that shows us what level we should have when we're recording something.
Okay.
And then all of these down here, we can adjust the various sound levels and different things. I won't go into details of what the board can do, but it's very useful and very helpful when you're recording professional programs. Then we have what's called a switcher, which is behind us, and the person who sits there is basically running the show. He's the one who tells everyone when to start recording, about the sound. He can also see what each camera looks at, and then this particular monitor shows what's being recorded or going over the air.
Okay, so this is what's actually happening.
That's right.
This is what the other cameras are saying, and you switch between.
The different
Yeah.
ones, and the person on the switcher does all of that. And then over there, we have a title maker. We also have a DVD recorder, an S-video recorder, and a digital 8 recorder. So when we're recording programs, we're recording on 3 different formats.
Oh,
So
you
that
are, huh?
yeah, so if one piece of equipment breaks down, we still have the other 2 as backup.
Yeah.
So in the 7 years that I've been here, and we recorded several hundred programs, we've never had to redo a show.
That's good thinking. Is that something that happens in every studio, or is that something that you use like to do?
Well, they probably have at least one backup, but we have 2 backups.
That is so smart.
Yeah, so that's very helpful. We also have behind you equipment over there that enables us to do insert, what they call inserting your program. You know, when you have news broadcasts and the person is talking,
Oh, and you're showing something.
and then they're showing
on the
something
screen.
else, well, we can do that. We can do that.
All
here.
right from here.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Now the titler, that's when you put the name, the
Yes.
person's name or an address or something on the screen while they're
that's
talking.
Right. Exactly, while they're
Okay.
doing that. And the person who sits over there, so you need at least 3 people in the control room to do a show, and then you'll have to have a couple out in the studio on the cameras. So we
Yeah.
do have 3 cameras, but usually the one camera is a wide-angle camera and usually doesn't require anyone to monitor
Behind
that.
it.
But the other 2, they're being used, and the person on the switcher has communication with each one of the camera operators, so he can tell the videographer what to do and how to
Yeah.
adjust things. So,
Close up, back
exactly,
up. Yeah.
exactly.
Oh my goodness. There is a lot that goes on. Everything that you need to put a show together besides the camera and the subjects is all in this room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's a very professional operation. It's small compared to a network studio. If you were going into one of the networks, you'd probably see on the wall a huge wall of about 40 or 50 monitors. Just one right after the other, and you'll have a couple of switchers down there and going back and forth. We don't have anything like that.
Does that mean they have 40 or 50 cameras going at one time?
Well, no.
What does that mean?
No. Generally, you'll be tapping into some satellite or some satellite programs, and the stations
Oh,
will
I
have...
see. So they're not these 3. It's,
Yeah, they'll have at least a half a dozen different satellite dishes.
Okay.
We have 3 here at the studio where we tap into satellites. We have what's called Classic Arts. We also have one that's called Deutsche Welle, which is programs that come from Europe. They're in English, but they're news broadcasts that give the perspective of European viewpoints of the world news.
Really?
And then we also have one that goes 24/7 on just Nassau, which is really very interesting.
Wow.
And we play those programs from time to time.
Do you?
Yes.
How do you decide when to put those on and when to play? Because all of that to me sounds very interesting.
Yeah, well, That's up to the programmer. I leave that to her.
The one with the real power. Yeah.
Yes. Right.
Oh, neat.
So, we sit down and talk about programming and things and general overview, but she makes I let her make the final decisions.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you came here.
I am too.
Yes. And always happy to accommodate you.
Thank you so much, Ed.
Goodbye.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on our program today. I want to thank Ed Lark from PATV for the tour and for sharing all of this information and knowledge that he has with you and with me. And he is just such an interesting, wonderful man.